Thorns. I went to Miramar Community College for a semester, studied some psychology there. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
All right. And you studied somewhere else before you
I did.
went to Miramar, right?
I went to Berkeley, and I lived up in Oakland for a while, and I've been here in San Diego for about a year now, and I really love it here.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
Texas is where my mom lives. She lives outside of San Antonio.
Okay. Is that where you grew up as well?
I grew up there. I grew up in Houston for a while, and then Southern California most of my life, up in Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
Yeah, we
All
have
right.
a mall. That's really our only claim to fame. It's a pretty suburban town.
Very good. And then, Julio, go ahead and give us your full name.
Well, my name is Julio Martinez Valle. What else?
All right. And what are you studying here? Where did you go to high school at?
Well, I'm full-on Mexican, so pretty much my high school was in Tijuana.
All right.
Right now I'm studying RTVF, which is Radio, TV, and Film here in City College. I want to major on film, of course, and I have a couple of projects going on that I've had participated on. This is kind of like my fourth or fifth, maybe. I want to say sixth, but I'm not sure. I need to look onto my stuff. But, yeah, I'm pretty much here in City College.
So those other projects that you worked on, did you work on those with Brandon or something separate?
I have worked with Brandon before. Brandon being director for this particular project, Roses Without Thorns. I'm assistant director for this project. And what else I did with Brandon? I did a documentary the presentation for that documentary. We covered the event and all this stuff. I also did a music video with Brandon and a couple of college buddies of mine. And we kind of already have our groove on how we work, how we are, we know how to organize ourselves within work and all that stuff. So we kind of have our backs already.
So the point I want to make first off is this is not a class project.
No, it's not.
And so you guys, above and beyond the classwork and coursework you have to do, you're taking on this additional responsibility of producing this short film.
Right.
And the focus of the short film is to bring awareness to mental illness. Am I correct?
Yes.
Correct.
It is a film that is, or a short film that is based on psychology and sociology with the purpose of bringing this awareness of mental health illnesses.
All of the kind of cast of characters are really neurodiverse. So we have some characters with mental illness, some characters with different social anxieties, personality disorders. But Brandon was really great about showcasing kind of the strengths of all those different kinds of personalities and different kinds of people, as opposed to seeing them as weaknesses. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Right. And, we keep talking about this gentleman, Brandon. And I want to emphasize, Brandon is a student here at San Diego City College.
Yes, he is.
And I've had several classes with Brandon, and he's a really
We've had
sharp
classes
guy.
together, too.
Right. Brandon is really sharp, and he comes up with some wonderful ideas.
He's a cool kid.
And he does a lot with the camera. He's very, very knowledgeable. And so when I saw that you guys were doing this, I said, I need to bring these guys on the show and have them tell the story of what they're doing. So, Christian, let me come to you and first ask about what's your character or your role in the film? Are you a character or you're a producer or?
I'm playing a character, the lead character named Roman. And Roman, what he's like is he's a leader. He's the leader of the group. And I don't want to spoil too much, but I just want to say that he is very straightforward with what he is. And the story goes is that he's just trying to combine different forces, different people. Each of them represent a different part of the brain. For example, one of the characters represents the, would it be the left hemisphere that represents the art or the right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, both are represented.
In one part of the brain.
Well, I meant like in the characters in the movie.
Well, each one of them represent a part of the brain, And they my character Roman, he just wants to bring them all together so that we can all unite and form a strong unity, so that we can show the world, hey, we're strong as you guys are. So
Right.
that's all he
They
just
can
wants
be
to.
functional.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to do. So he's a great leader, and he knows what he wants.
Okay. Melanie?
Yeah, my character's name is Elizabeth, and she has bipolar personality disorder, and I'm sorry, just bipolar disorder, but she doesn't really have that's not exhibited so much in the film, but it does make her feel like an outcast, and a lot of the characters in the film do, as a result of the things that they live with, they feel kind of like an outcast. And so she's happy to be a part of the group that Roman kind of brings together. She finds strength in the others, and they balance out, parts of her personality that she feels self-conscious about too. So she finds kind of like love and strength in the group. And, yeah.
All right. Julio?
Yes.
And so you said earlier that you were the assistant director?
I am assistant director for this project.
And so how do you see it coming along? Are y'all just now starting, or are you already, do you have the scripts written already and you're starting production? Where are you at?
Well, right now, pretty much what we're doing, it's getting our fundraisers going on, our locations as well, being, actually Brandon had a meeting with, I'm going to say client. I don't know. Let's say a person.
Right.
Just keep it simple.
Someone important.
Someone important. Yeah, there you go. For this location scouting and, do all the paperwork, if you will, to see if we can get the venue for, our shoots there. We're doing that. We had previous meetings. We had a script reading as well. And then afterwards, the casting and auditions, which was, 3 weeks ago, more or less?
Yeah.
And then right now, pretty much we're working towards fundraisers, get money to get our, stuff going.
Right. And again, I want to emphasize, because you mentioned fundraisers, this is not something that you are doing for school.
It's not a school project. It's
Right.
totally independent. It's us bringing outside of school walls what we have acquired
Learned here.
or learned or knowledgeable about, and we're putting ourselves in the real world right now,
Right.
and we are working towards probably making it to film fests and showing our work and gaining experience and bringing awesome people into our team, talented, and create a team. Brandon, Partha, who else that I've worked with that they're here. I forget names right now, but
Right.
you know who you are, guys. Don't take it.
Don't take it personal,
Yeah,
right?
don't take it personal. I'll edit it somewhere over there.
Right.
But we've worked together. Like I said earlier, we know how we work. We know our schedules. We know how
Right.
to pull our strings and, hey, you know what, you're doing this wrong, or you're what you did is fantastic, this and that.
Right.
So we get along.
So
and
let
I think
me-
I lost track of
Yeah,
what the question was.
Let me, because you actually make a good point. So, Christian, you're a student in
Yeah.
theater,
Yeah. I'm
Right.
a student in theater.
and you're a student in radio, television, and film.
Yes.
And so you have acquired these skills while you were a student here. And
Still
so,
am.
and I think the point is for the listeners, the quality of the facilities and the educational opportunities here at City College is what has given you guys the confidence to say, hey, I've got the knowledge, the skills, and the abilities, because you get real world experience.
Oh yeah.
You know, and when I came to visit your acting class, y'all were on stage acting.
Oh, yeah.
They put on real productions as part of classes here on the campus, and the students participate in those performances. This radio show, for example, is part of a class. Right. And so I'm getting real world experience hosting a radio show. There's a TV studio that we have. There are professional cameras that the students have access to do all of these things. So you get real world experience. And when I saw what you guys were doing, I said, this is good. These guys are taking individually what they've learned in the different departments here and bringing it all together as students and producing a film. Mm-hmm. And you're doing it no differently than they do it in Hollywood or New York or Bollywood or wherever else.
Call it what you will.
You've written scripts. You've had casting calls. Mm-hmm. These are real things. Yep. You have a producer, an assistant producer, director, assistant director. And so what you guys are doing is exactly what, and it's kind of sad that this isn't your final thesis or final project.
There's no direct credit for it.
Right. And so I make that point to make this point. You need money to pull this off.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even the big shots in Hollywood need money. You know what
exactly.
I mean? So, like, we're an indie, so of course we're going to need money.
Right. Exactly. And so that's why you're doing the fundraiser. Is that right, Melanie?
Yeah, we definitely need more resources. Like we're all pulling together. We're volunteering to do this because Brandon, who wrote and directed it, has a story to tell and a point of view, and he's a student here. A lot of our cast and crew are students, so we're volunteering whatever time we have outside of school, whatever resources we have on our own, like whether that is our time or our talents, but it does cost money to get a venue, to all of the equipment and everything. So whatever people can pitch in would be really, really helpful. I would also encourage people to go to our Facebook page for Roses Without Thorns or Twitter and find us, especially if you're interested in filmmaking. The whole team is doing a really great job of sharing each step of the process. So anybody that's interested in filmmaking can see what the audition looked like, what our first kind of table read looked like, all of the steps to making a movie. So even if you're not directly involved in this project, you can kind of see through the Facebook page what it would look like to make a movie on your own.
And it's all on there. Our first auditions, they recorded it with a professional camera that they had, and they went ahead and posted it on there with Brandon and Partha's camera. So,
yeah,
right. And so again, we'll give I want you guys to give out you started a Kickstarter campaign. I want you to be able to give that out before we leave this evening. But I really think it's amazing. And so what I want to do, Christian, is come to you and have you talk about how your training in the theater program has given you the confidence to think you could star as the lead character in this short film.
Well, it's definitely going to be quite a different experience going from theater on stage to a camera, because this will be the first time I'm going to be doing on-screen stuff. So I'm definitely used to being loud.
Right.
And so, it's not going to be a problem with me quieting down. So, I'm pretty open, and, I've been told that I take direction pretty well. So it's not going to be a problem. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be quite an experience, though, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this. Another thing about the title, if you we all have different names, obviously. Roses Without Thorns. So roses would be in anagram. How would you say
anagram?
That? Anagram.
Yes.
R would be for Roman, me. O would be for Aurel, another character. S would be for Sebastian. E would be for Elizabeth. And S would be for Sharon. And those are all the names of the characters on there, which
put together.
Yeah, which was pretty awesome and creative that Brandon did. So, yeah.
It has a meaning.
Yeah.
Well, I read that Roses Without Thorns, and it just made sense to me. Roses have thorns, but how deep it is to actually have the first letter of the characters in the show to spell out roses. So again, I've seen Brandon's work, and Brandon is a sharp guy, and so I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for him, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. And this should be something that the school should be proud of. Now, let me ask you about once it's done. One of you, I think Melanie or maybe Julio, mentioned that you're going to try to get it into one of the film festivals.
Yeah.
What is that process?
It is a process. Hard one. But it's work, like every other thing.
Right.
But pretty much what we want to do is get our names out there.
Right.
Like, for people know what we're doing, have our IMDb credits, recognition, experience. But more than that, I think it's just experience, so that we can show that we can do this, type of job, be professional, even though we're still college students and we're kind of, some of us, like in our half, major, or like Brandon, he's like almost out. So to show that we can deliver. And the only way for us to proving that is to actually going out there and hands-on. Because otherwise you're not going to, excel,
right?
I guess is that the word
right.
that I'm trying to look for. But yeah, right now with the internet era and everything, it's like a step forward, if you will. But it is work, it's research, it's contacting people, networking, sending emails, calls, calling again, emailing again, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like,
getting told
engaging.
no 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Which is probably the way it's going to happen
maybe.
in the real world.
Exactly. And
right.
then having doors shut down on our noses, and then just be turned down, and then maybe like back critics like, hey, you know what? It's good, but it's not that good.
Right.
Oh, it's not good at all.
Right.
So it's work.
Right.
And basically it's just research and contacting people. Like, there are a lot of things going out there because of my previous experience with another company that I work for, Razor Bill Productions, which pretty much is where I have experience on film and sets and all of that. I know that it is, it's, how do you say it? It's a thing that you can't take for granted.
Right.
You have to be there up until either you bother them enough for them to say, okay, yes, go ahead, why not? Or they like what you're doing,
and
then
see the vision.
Exactly, your vision, and then they believe in you, and they're like, okay, go for it.
Right.
Or they just are students like you are, and then say, hey, why not? I mean, I went through there, why not give them a chance? Because everybody deserves a chance. And I think us students deserve it more than anybody, because, we're living paycheck to paycheck, and then we have full-time jobs, full-time school, and we're still trying to make, time for our projects like this one. We have our partners, we have life, so it's like a lot of stuff going on, and, it's like, it's harder, I guess.
Right. So you bring up a couple of good points, and so I want to go back to Melanie, because you are not a student at CD currently. Mm-hmm. So how did you find out about the project? Because Julio brought up networking and calling people. One, how did you find out about the project? And two, why did you think it would be a good project to get involved in?
Yeah, I found out through, there's a Facebook page that I would encourage anybody who's interested in acting to go on. It's San Diego Actors, I think is the name of the Facebook page. You have to be admitted into it. But and there's also one that's San Diego Actors and Filmmakers. And a lot of people post kind of casting calls and stuff on there. And Brandon had posted this one. And you could tell just by his character descriptions that it was something he was really passionate about. And then when I came to the audition and met the whole team, like, we're here because we definitely do need some resources, and that's why we were talking about our Kickstarter is we need financial resources to get a movie made definitely. But one of the resources that I think is so great that we do have is, and I think all City College students really do have is like a lot of passion. Everybody's here for different reasons, that we're from all different ages, all different cultural backgrounds, all different, financial situations, but people come to a city college because they're passionate and they want to go to school and they want to learn, not just because it's the next step or the thing to do, but because, there's some goal that you're really after. And I could feel that just from the audition. Everybody in the room, a lot of whom are San Diego City College students, just were really passionate about making this professional. Everyone was taking it really seriously. Nobody was goofing off or laughing off. We have fun too, but it's clear that everybody's really excited to be a part of this project, to make something on our own, that's not, part of not just working on someone else's project, but like Brandon, our writer-director, who we've mentioned a bunch of times, he's really doing this on his own. And I think
engaged.
Yeah, I really do think that there's something about City College and community college, that there's a passion like in this environment, because we're all here.
And you're, I don't think we said this, but you actually attended Berkeley.
Yeah.
And so what did you study there?
I studied society and environment. It was a very Berkeley major. I had a pretty stereotypical Berkeley experience, I must say. But yeah, and I came to San Diego, and I've been here about a year, and worked a couple of different jobs, but I really love acting, and there's so many opportunities here. I really encourage people to go for it. There's a lot of, if you like community theater, there's so much community theater here. Yes. There's so many student films. The City College system is so big. There's so many different schools around San Diego that all need actors for their films. And, if you're passionate and don't mind, not getting paid, I'd say go out and audition for whatever you want.
Right.
It's funny because when I first came here, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, I was taking different classes, whatever, would that I thought would satisfy me.
Experiencing.
Yeah, experiencing. So over the years, I just decided, hey, what the heck? I'll just try to take a acting class, because I took a class with Dwayne, art direction, and I also took a video production class with Robert Sly here.
Right.
And that kind of opened me to the whole acting thing, because I remember in Dwayne's class they needed an actor. Well, not necessarily an actor with experience. They just needed someone to fill in the set for the background of the set. And so, I just what the heck, I'll just try it. And so, they had me play a priest.
You look like a priest.
Yeah. That's what they told me too. They said, "Oh, you could perfectly play the priest." And so, I went ahead and did it, and I said, "Wow, this is amazing."
Right.
And so I did another scene with that was actually, I met Brandon. I wasn't in the light class with Brandon, but we were supposed to light up the backgrounds that we created in Dwayne's class. So Dwayne taught that same lighting class, and that's where I met Brandon. And he went ahead and filmed my cowboy scene. I did a cowboy saloon, and they went ahead and helped me out with that lighting. That took a long time, the lighting. It was quite a while, but I did that, and I thought, wow, this is something I should really do. And then I remember people told me in that art direction class, you should really go into acting. And I was like, maybe I should. And so I did it, and I loved it. Never in a million years did I think I was going to be an actor.
Right. You bring up some other disciplines that we haven't talked about, lighting, and there's the ability to light a full stage. We do concerts. We actually help produce live jazz concerts here.
Oh, yeah, the jazz concert I went to is amazing.
It is. Yeah. They're great, huh?
Yeah.
And then you have the lighting for the theater productions. Yeah. And so the lighting in the studio for new scene and all those different things. And so the students here get real world hands-on experience, and which is why I think it's so great that you guys are coming together and taking all of those different skill sets and different disciplines that you've learned here and putting them all together. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Bring the Pain show here on KSDS. My in-studio guests for the second hour are Mr. Christian Molina, Mrs. Melanie McCorkle, and Mr. Julio Martinez Valle. stay with us. We're going to come back and talk a little more about this short film that these students and some that aren't students that just answered to a casting call are producing focused on mental illness. And so stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to talk more about this production. It's called Roses Without Thorns. We're going to send you out with some music from Maroon 5. Here's Sugar.
What is going on here? Be a part of the process.
Straight from San Diego City College campus. If you want to rock, talk, or just hang out and listen, I will have news, entertainment, and good music to play for you. Listen to the Lunch Munch Double Hour every Monday from 11 to 1 with your host, Michelle Botello, right here on SDS.
You found the sound. SDS. Student Delivered Sound.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bring the Pain Show. Again, I'm your host, Stuart Payne. We're in studio here on the campus of San Diego City College talking to three actors and two actors and one director in an upcoming short film being produced and directed and written by several students here at San Diego City College. The name of the short film is Roses Without Thorns. And in the studio, I have Christian Molina, Melanie McCorkle, and Mr. Julio Martinez Valle. Christian and Melanie are actors in this film, and Julio is the assistant director of this film. And again, this is not a school project. In addition to the school work that these guys are doing, they're working on this short film with the hopes of getting it funded, because there are costs associated with this production, and hopefully at some point getting it approved in a film festival or some sort of other medium to get it out to the masses. And the film focuses on mental health. So Christian, I want to come back to you. And your character, again, is Roman.
Roman, yes.
And what is Roman, what is his, does he have one of the mental illnesses, or what was his?
I don't want to give too much away, but I just want to say that he is kind of...
interesting.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, so...
Right.
You'd have to see it to watch it.
Yeah,
so.
it's a suspenseful movie. It's kind of a thriller, or like a.
It's a psychological, more like a psychological thriller. So if you say a bit, you already said too much.
You give it away, right?
Yeah. So you don't want to go there, because then we signed a contract.
Right.
Roman's,
Gotcha.
I will say Roman's character is the one who's kind of like pulling some of the strings, I guess, putting some of the suspense in motion.
Definitely a puppet master.
It's ahead of the whole plot.
Okay.
If you want to see it like that.
Right. And so when the whole project is done, what is the hope that people will learn? What do you want them to learn about mental illness, people with mental illness' ability to function, and what message are you trying to get across to the audience?
I think the vision was really to show that it is a strength, that neurodiversity is strength. Roman's character is the character of Roman is bringing all these people together, because each of the things that make them diverse, that make them interesting, that might be seen as an illness or a disability to most of society, are actually really strengths and things that make them unique, and things that give them a different perspective. So it's I think the goal is really to show that what makes you different also makes you strong, also makes you interesting, balances out the other people that and that something that may be seen as may make you an outcast is actually, if you find the right people, will be seen as a strength.
Yeah, and these characters look up to Roman because they see him as a leader and someone that could help them.
Right.
So he's a very very strong, independent leader.
Okay. Earlier we talked about the title, and you had revealed that roses spells out, you use the first letter of each character's first name.
Right.
It's an acronym.
To spell out roses. And so as I heard you say that, it says, so it seems to me like the message might be, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, these roses, these individuals that spell out the word roses, they have some sort of mental illness, maybe not all of them, but they don't have thorns. And so is that part of the message that they can't hurt you or they won't hurt you just because they're different? Am I going down the right path?
Yes.
And if I'm giving away too much, let me know.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Brandon who wrote it too much, but I think it's more. Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption.
Bottom
that
line,
there's nothing inherently dangerous about.
Yeah, I mean, we
mental
are a
illness.
society, and all of us want to fit in our own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Social groups, I guess. I don't know. I'm Mexican. She's white, and then mixed, and then gay, or
Right.
So
and you
it's
want to feel
so
comfortable.
everybody wants to feel comfortable. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to engage in whatever they do best or knowledgeable.
Right.
So it's like, I think more than that is bringing unity into putting unity out there. That's the message.
Right.
Other than anything or overthinking it.
Right. Gotcha.
Our director Brandon is an immigrant from Russia and has lived here about 6 years now, I think he said.
6.
And I think that plays not to again speak too much on his behalf, but I think that does play a role in the script too. There's a character who is an immigrant from Russia in the story, and I think it's just that feeling of not ever quite fitting in. If you go back to where you came from, then now he's an American. If he goes back to Russia,
Exactly.
if he's
It's like-
here, he's a Russian. There's always
Right.
You're not from
Can't
here,
win.
but you're not from
yeah,
right.
that feeling of being an outcast, of not quite
Belonging.
fitting in, of never knowing if you're portraying yourself the way you fully want to. I think that's something a lot of us can really relate to, and I think that's what he's kind of part of the story he's trying to tell, with some suspense and thrillerness, scary things thrown in there too.
What makes it interesting?
I commend you guys on one, taking a leap of faith and coming together from all the different disciplines in the radio, television, film, and even theater department, and taking a risk to try and do this. One, I think you have a strong message. I think it'll resonate with a lot of people, people that may not even have a mental illness but struggle fitting in. And we're going to have a whole lot of people, or we do have a whole lot of people in this country that struggle fitting in for a variety of different reasons. So I think your mission is a noble one. But let's talk about the expense,
The adult part.
right, that it takes to put this on.
Responsible
So you have a
parts.
Kickstarter campaign,
We do, as
and-
well as a GoFundMe campaign.
right? And we want fellow students, people from the community in general that want to hear what this message is, want to see this message. How if they want to donate, how do they donate to your campaign? You just started it today, I think, right?
The Kickstarter we did, yeah.
Well, the Kickstarter a couple of days ago, probably. Well, I mean, it's not
Over
that
the
far.
weekend,
It's,
right,
it's
right,
just
right.
like a day or two.
So recent, right?
Yeah. But we're like, you can follow us. People can follow us on our Facebook, which is facebook.com/Roses Without Thorns Film. And we're posting stuff on there. For our Kickstarter is the same thing, Roses Without Thorns short film, as well as in GoFundMe. We also have a Twitter account. It's twitter.com/Thorns, WO Thorns.
Okay.
And we're posting there.
So let's go back slowly for folks that might be trying to write this down. So let's go Facebook first. So Facebook, of course, facebook.com/Roses Without Thorns.
That's
Right.
Film.
Okay.
FILM.
Yes.
Okay. Then the second one was
Twitter,
which
is twitter.com/Thorns, WO, and Thorns again.
Okay, so Thorns. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Thorns, WO, Thorns.
Okay, so Thorns Without Thorns.
Okay.
That's what the WO stands for.
Yes, without.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And that's on Twitter.
That's on Twitter.
All right.
And for our campaigns for Kickstarter and GoFundMe would be Roses Without Thorns short film.
Okay. So on Kickstarter, is it Kickstarter.com?
Well, pretty much the thing is that you log in and you create your campaign and it gives you like a number, an ID
Right.
number, and then the actual name for your campaign, like Kickstarter.com/a number and then / again and Roses Without Thorns.
So if you just go to Kickstarter.com and search Roses Without Thorns.
Exactly, then it'll populate and then you'll see our campaign.
And there are direct links on the Facebook page too. I would say follow us on Facebook, especially if, like I was saying earlier, if you're interested in filmmaking, we're posting all about the process. So, even if you can't contribute, you can learn something, from the page and see kind of what this process looks like. But it's super great if somebody wants to skip their $4 Starbucks and throw some dollars
in a while,
our way. This is an
Like,
independent.
it's gonna be there always.
Yeah, it's an independent movie, and we're a small community here of artists that are trying to make something special, make something different, tell a story that doesn't get told. And I think anything that promotes independent filmmaking or independent artwork or local art, is worth contributing to, because the more of that there is, one day when you're doing your own project, the more space there is for you as well. So it all kind of
Pace
one hand
forward.
shakes the other, I guess. Yeah.
So if you're listening, we want you to go, at a minimum, go to their Facebook page and learn more about what they're doing.
Please do.
And then donate. Again, most of them are students. Some are not students. Some are just answered their casting call, and so they're aspiring actors and actresses, and they need your support. So, like Melanie says, you don't have to fund the whole thing. You could just fund $5 of it by skipping your Starbucks or your McDonald's, and students that are here on campus
Or just
can
$1.
support other students.
It's like you not necessarily need to donate $1,000. It's just like,
That'd be nice, but
exactly, right?
You wouldn't turn it down.
But just, little by little, it actually makes a difference. We get like 1,000 people to donate $1, let's say. Hopefully they do more. But like for a minimum, that's already $1,000. And we need to pay production expenses. We need to pay catering. We need to pay equipment, actors, venues, location, rent for whatever goes wrong. And then we need to have like a little, something on the side for emergencies. Things
Unexpected
do happen.
costs. Right.
And you can't really have control over everything. So it is a student-made project, but it's not part of
the campus.
Right.
So the school's not funding it.
We're not.
You guys
we're
have
not
to fund it
being
yourself.
funded from school. We don't have like any fundings whatsoever now. Like right now, that's why we're doing this. It's totally independent. It's ourselves with our own time, money, equipment. We need to rent out stuff, microphones, lighting, sometimes even cameras, cars, pay for parking. There's a lot of things that production expenses fall into, and we are just, starting our in the real world.
And there may be other fees from, you said you need locations, and so there may be a fee from the city to get a certain location
or
to
permits,
get
no,
police
or not
services.
even exactly like permits for
permits.
you know.
So wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you
very
guys for
much.
coming in.
Thanks so much
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
This was
And
so
as you
much
go
fun.
through this
Inviting
process,
us.
come back and give us updates
Yeah.
on what you're doing. It doesn't have to be my show. There are other students
Okay.
Right.
that do shows here. So you can contact anybody in the radio department and say, hey, I would like to come back on the radio and talk about our project.
Right.
And any of the students that are doing shows here would love to have you in and, do an interview with you. So don't feel like it.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to
and then
talk to me on.
we're gonna start shooting this Sunday, I believe,
I think we pushed it back to the
next
17th.
17th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that was the main plan, but now it got changed. But
Right.
what I wanted to throw out there is that we're kind of planning like a get together, like going out maybe to a bond and have a better work ambience, and
Right.
and maybe if people are interested in joining us, like for a meet and greet, and talk about more about the film, getting people interested in funding us and what we're doing, and so that they can see that we're actual people. They're doing things. It's gonna be at Brick Bar in Hillcrest this Friday at 5:30 onward. That's right now what we're going for. We're going to be announcing it on Facebook if people are interested in joining us, having a drink, meet and greet, and talking about maybe, if they're interested in funding us or whatnot.
Or getting involved.
And getting involved in some way.
Volunteers.
About the
Yeah.
process.
So
Yeah.
if you guys didn't get it, it's Brick Bar this Friday at 5:30 p.m. onwards up until closing. Cast and crew will be there.
Yeah, come hang out with a bunch of film nerds.
Of course. We're gonna have fun,
So this Friday, starting at
Friday,
5:30
5:30.
in Hillcrest.
Hillcrest, the
What
bar.
street is it? What's the cross streets for the bar?
Yikes!
Well, post it on Facebook.
It is. It's Brick Bar. You'll find it. It's in the heart
Serious.
of Hillcrest.
G Maps.
Brick
right.
Bar in Hillcrest.
So if you want to meet the cast and crew this Friday, it'll be a great opportunity to come out and meet, learn more about the project, learn more about the funding needs. So students here on campus, support this effort.
Yes.
I've had classes with many of these, the people that are involved in this production, and I know they do good work. I know this is probably going to be a dynamite project, even if it is on a shoestring budget, shall we say. So, again, want to wish you guys a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Visit their Facebook page, facebook.com/Roses Without Thorns Film. You can get all the other information there, but specifically go to either GoFundMe or Kickstarter
Yes, please.
and search for Roses Without Thorn and make a contribution. Every little bit helps. You don't have to pay for the whole film. Just get them started.
A dollar makes
share
a
us.
huge difference.
Right.
Yes, it does. And also share on your social networks and, tell a friend that can tell a friend. And maybe if you can, contribute or, make a donation, probably somebody else could. And
Right.
just share our information and somebody that might be interested or have the possibility to, then they can. So would really appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is again the Bring the Pain show here on KSDS, Student Delivered Sound, live from the campus of San Diego City College. My guests during the final hour again are Christian Molina, Melanie McCorkle, and Julio Martinez Valle. They are part of the cast and crew of Roses Without Thorns, a short film written and produced by several San Diego City College students. Again, support the effort to get this film funded. Again, Friday in Hillcrest at Brick
Bar.
will be an opportunity to meet the cast and crew. You can find more information on their Facebook page. Thank you for listening. Join us again next week for the Bring the Pain show here on KSDS, Student Delivered Sound. We're going to send you out with some music from Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie. Here's Fancy.